Hey, Colby and Kaui here today from KCMG Real Estate Advisors and Downingtown Life. And today we are here with John and Victoria Thompson, and we are talking about John W. Thompson IV photography.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your business.
So I am specifically a boudoir photographer. I do not shoot anything else but boudoir. We build an entire day for our clients. It is something where my average client is a mom from 30 to 55 who's had a couple of kids, whose body has changed. They may not feel as confident in their skin anymore as they used to, or they look at, the cover of Vogue and compare themselves to something like that. And they come to us and they get to shut the world off. They get to put their bag down, they get to spend an entire day being pampered, get to feel beautiful, and then we show someone how beautiful they are through our work. And so we really get to watch people fall in love with themselves.
Tell us a little bit about the process of getting them comfortable, because it's a subject that a lot of people, their first reaction is to be very uncomfortable.
Yeah. And it starts literally from our initial consultation. So if someone reaches out to me and expresses interest in booking, I don't really do anything via email or phone call. Like, I'll get that initial email, and the first thing I do is set up as a video call. And it's because I am acutely aware of, especially being a man in this space, that trust is a big issue. And that's why my wife is such an integral part of my business too. We work together. So a video call gives us a chance to kind of connect and read each other, and it starts building that trust. A lot of my clients, when they get here, they're like, I already feel like I know you. Because they spend an hour on a video call with us talking and getting to know us and laughing.
That's key. Like, honestly, if I were setting up an appointment and everything was done electronically, and then I showed up to this strange guy's house, and then my husband's like, where are you going? It's uncomfortable. So that is key. And I bet you probably have always started with that process, because I don't think you can get further without building some sort of rapport on the front end. Otherwise, that trust factor is just not there.
And we're super transparent with everything, right? Like, we do use our home as a studio.
Right.
And, and initially when I first started, I was worried that was going to be a disadvantage, right? But then I realized it lets me give clients a very private, very comfortable, very personal experience, right? You're not walking into a branded studio on Main Street in Westchester with everybody and their brother driving by, seeing what's happening. Right? I understand trust is a big factor of this, and so I do everything I can to just be me and put it out there.
Yeah, and having a woman involved too is also key.
It helps a lot.
Right, yeah. I think that definitely calms a lot of women down. Having me here, I'm always on the call with John every time he sets up an appointment. And I'm with his clients every step of the way, from wardrobe consultations to hair and makeup to posing guidance and snack getter during the day of the session. So I'm as much involved as he is.
Yeah. So that's great, establishing that kind of comfort level with you and so forth, and getting them to that point. But after the shoot, how do you ensure their confidence and privacy of the photos they're taking, that they're going to have control over what they do?
So one of the big things that I do, so as a photographer, we own the copyright to any images we take, right? So I retain copyright ownership of the images that I take with clients, but I don't ever use images of clients unless it's on a model release. And some photographers will build a model release into their contract. Mine's not built in my contract. It's a fully separate document so that someone clearly sees it. Because you think about it, you get a 10-page contract. A lot of people don't read all 10 pages of stuff. They just go, all right, I have to sign this and go. Whereas, my separate model release, and it's tiered. It actually allows my client to choose how they want their images used. Whether it's only for in-person viewing, whether it's only on the website, whether it's only on social media, or all three. And then the final option is anonymous only. So I allow my clients to pick that they don't have their face shown in anything. And there's no requirement to sign a model release with me. So I take everybody's privacy seriously, because it is serious, right? It's an intimate form of art, and if my client says, hey, you can't use that, then I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to fight with somebody over it. I want them to have the best experience they can.
Yeah. So how did you get involved in or interested in boudoir photography? I know that's probably not what you've done all of your life. I think there's a little bit of a background that you can share with us. Tell us about that.
As far as photography goes, I started photography in high school.
Gotcha.
Just took one of my grandfather's old film cameras and started learning. I was actually my college campus's photography assistant for a couple of years in Georgia, so I did like ad campaigns,
Nice.
staff portraits, things like that.
Yes.
And then I was in public safety for almost a decade, so I was in law enforcement for several years down in Georgia. And during that time, I just shot wildlife, right? It was all I had time to do. Well, Victoria and I met online, I guess as you do in this day and age, and we just kind of started out as friends first and then kind of started dating long distance. As COVID hit and there was things going on, I had to decide on whether or not we were going to continue to go with our relationship. I had no kids, I didn't want kids, I didn't like kids, I didn't care about kids. She had 4. Well, like legitimately, I
It was never a
wanted
thought
children.
in your head,
It was
like
never
that's
a
where I'm
thought.
going, yeah.
And so we reached a point where it was like, well, we need to decide if this is worth investing time into. So I packed some stuff in a car and I drove up here for a week, and the kids changed my entire outlook on my life. They changed everything I thought was important. They turned my world on its head. And after that, I was able to fly, and I know this is a little long-winded backstory, but there's a reason for it. I would fly up here every 3 weeks and spend time with her and the kids to build our relationship. And when we reached a point where we knew it was time to go to the next step, I chose to walk away from my career. I was very, very good at what I did. I was a highly decorated DUI task force cop in Georgia, and I left it all behind because I knew that life wasn't conducive to a young family. So I quit my job, I packed everything I owned into a 24-foot U-Haul truck, and I moved about 800 miles.
Pretty sure I could write a song about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, she was the one who suggested I look back towards photography, and as I started thinking more and more about it, I was like, yeah, I'd like to do that again, right? And so she was like, well, what do you think you're going to shoot? I was like, I don't know, I shoot a lot of wildlife, right? She's like, we're not paying bills shooting wildlife. Fair enough. And she was the catalyst for me to go towards Boudoir. She was like, I think you would enjoy it, I think you would be good at it. And so I was like, okay, and I had the support of my wife. I'd always been, the human body's been art for thousands of years at this point. I mean, some of the greatest paintings of all time are the female form. And, doing this, I was like, I wanted a chance to celebrate somebody. I look at it, I know that there's beauty in every shape, size, and age. So through this art form, and as we started doing it, and I started watching people fall in love with themselves, I was like, this is amazing.
I feel like there's an empowerment that occurs when you have maybe someone who isn't feeling as young, spry, beauty, whatever, right? Yeah. And it kind of puts them into a different light, and it changes your mental mindset about where you are.
And it does. And
that's a big thing.
And it's beautiful to watch. And I tell people a little bit, I do this selfishly for myself now because it's been my own healing journey. In law enforcement, I saw a lot of really bad things.
Sure, I'm sure you did.
I've seen some terrible things and witnessed some terrible things. And doing this, I went from only dealing with people at their worst part of their life in crisis to making someone feel beautiful and making someone realize that they are beautiful and they are worthy even though their body has changed. Just because you gained weight, lost weight, had kids, it doesn't matter. You're still beautiful. When my clients, a week later email me or text me and go,
wow.
I'm still riding the high. We had one client, she goes, I finally see what my husband sees now. She's like, it's made me a better wife. She's like, I'm happier. She's like, because now I understand why he tells me I'm beautiful all the time. She's like,
the posing, I think this is probably where, I don't know what to do. How do you guide women through posing and making sure they're kind of highlighting and showing their best sides? Yeah.
So with posing, it's funny because that's always something. Somebody goes, I don't know how to pose.
Yeah,
it's not
sure.
your job. That's my
It feels awkward,
It is
unnatural.
awkward. It's unnatural.
We get a lot of,
it's
I don't know
awkward.
how to pose, or I don't know how to be sexy.
Yep.
Correct.
That's not your job. That's ours.
I spend a lot of time learning.
There's boudoir seminars?
Yes.
There are, yes.
Yeah. And we literally get photographers in
That's
from
amazing.
around the country
Get the
to
best
work
practices
on it.
and
So I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly looking for new posing ideas.
So are you kind of guiding them? Or,
Oh yeah, we direct everything.
Okay.
So it's not like a free for all. You don't just
Right,
come in
right.
and go, hey, lay down and try to look good.
Yeah.
No,
Try to look good and I'll shoot it.
We have poses for everything.
Great.
And so either she demonstrates them or I demonstrate them, and it's real funny watching
Oh,
her
I
do it.
bet it is.
But I don't care. I'll do it.
I need to see that, John.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do it. I don't care. All of my focus, all of my energy is just in this space. So it allows me to master my craft. It allows me to master posing and lighting and pay attention to those little details that when I say them to you, you go, well, that doesn't seem like it would make a big difference, but it does in the final product. Like I send out a questionnaire to my clients, and one of the questions on there is, what's something you really like that you want accentuated, and another one's what are something you're insecure about, so I know how to pose and be conscious of it, because we all have those things, and I don't want to highlight something that you don't like about yourself.
So are people bringing their own wardrobe, doing their own makeup, or how does that work?
So as far as wardrobes go, anybody who books with me gets a direct email line to Victoria for wardrobe consultation.
Love it.
And so she sent out a prep guide that has like links, like 10 or 15 links for lingerie for people. And then they can email her to get ideas.
Yes.
And so it's literally, once someone books with us, we hold our client's hand from start to finish.
Yeah, it sounds a very detailed process that you go through. So how long does a typical session take?
So a session with us is kind of an all-day jam. It is not a in and out in an hour. So one of my big things is I don't take more than one client a day. I don't want someone to ever feel like a number. This is a chance for someone to shut the world off and just spoil themselves. You come here, we start our days at 9:30 in the morning for a shoot day, and they sit down with her. She does proper skincare, hair, makeup. Being an esthetician, she gets everything perfect, right? and it takes time. Good work takes time, right? I don't rush that process. If it takes an hour and a half, 2 hours, takes an hour and a half, 2 hours.
So then with the finished product, is that something that the client just receives electronically? Do you actually do printing of the photos?
So we offer several different products. Digital images are one product that people can purchase, but one of the big things people like are our albums. So it's cool that you asked about that. We actually use an all-female team
that makes sense, because then they have something that they can keep private. It's not necessarily hanging on the dining room wall.
Right, and they make great gifts.
But yeah, there's a lot of customization. There's a ton of customization options with those products as well. So it really is it's a full experience for people. You come in, you spend the day with us. We shoot. We do same-day image reveals. They're not fully edited that day. They're just kind of a quick color correct and crop. But we put your images from the best images from the day up on a 60-inch TV and show you off like art. I don't think a little tablet does it justice. We display your images for you. It's a powerful experience. Like it really is wild to watch a client sit there and go, oh my God, that's me. So I put a lot of work and time into somebody's image. It's hours and hours and hours and hours of work to edit someone's gallery. Like I tell most people, it's anywhere between 4 and 8 weeks to get your images back. And there's some people who will process it like that, but to me, the quality is different. And for me, it's a labor of love, right? I choose to put that much work into it because I demand perfection out of my work, because these are pieces of art that you're going to cherish for the rest of your life.
What's some of the feedback, going back to what you were saying, of that your clients are giving you after the session, maybe even way after the session, about how they're feeling about
Good question.
The feedback's been awesome. Every client that we've had, we've connected really well with, and it's said, they'll text me a week or two later and they'll be like, I feel so much more confident. I'm a better wife. I had another client text me the other day a screenshot of the text message that her husband sent her, and I cannot repeat what he said. Needless to say, he was happy.
Yes.
So it really, it's fun. Our clients have been amazing people.
Well, confidence is sexy. Let's be honest. Having
the support of the women that have done this with us have been amazing. They'll be out in public and they're like, I tell everybody. They're like, I don't care. They're like, I will tell anybody that will listen. And they're like, anytime someone asks, you're the first name I drop. So it's nice. It's really nice to feel that. And we've tried to build a community with our members. I know you guys have your Facebook group and everything else. We run a small one for just women, and we built a community
I'm on
of
it.
people.
Yeah. I see all the comments.
What is that?
Sorry, it's a women's only group.
So it is,
yes, Colby, it's a women's only group.
Yes, but it's actually just called Boudoir by John Thompson IV Photography, and social media has a lot of negativity on it, and it's a place that we don't allow it. There's a daily inspirational quote, there's like a morning affirmation, there's engagement posts, there's a self-love positivity post at some point during the day. But a lot of women for our group have become friends with each other outside of our group. And so it's created a community of its own, and it's awesome. We love it. And
so if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
The easiest way is probably my website, which is just jwtivphoto.com.
Okay, jwtivphoto.com.
There, but my Facebook group is probably where I post more of my work, just because it's a closed space, right? We keep it women only so that clients can feel comfortable sharing their images and not have to worry about someone else. So I've created as a space where my the vast majority of my client base is women, so I've made it a place where they.
When
can
you say
be
the vast
comfortable.
majority of your client base is women, tell me about the non-vast majority.
So we.
Or the minority, rather.
So we are more than happy to shoot men, and we are more than happy to shoot couples.
Okay.
Couples is a really cool thing. You know, the intimacy that can come from that kind of shoot. And there's, you know, boudoir. A lot of people like to confuse boudoir with porn or boudoir with erotica. They are very different. Boudoir, she always likens it to burlesque. It's the tease, right? It is, and the way I shoot stuff is I shoot it for beauty and tiptoe that line of sensuality and sexiness, right? It's not meant to be overtly sexual. You know, this is celebrating somebody's self. Put into
Well, this has been very fascinating. I
feel enlightened.
Yeah, I do. I'm very grateful that you've educated me.
Well, thank you.
I understand, you know, the art behind it.
I appreciate that.
So, thanks again to John W. Thompson IV Photography and
Say that
his
5 times
lovely
fast.
best friend and wife and assistant Victoria. If you want to get in touch, the information will be provided, and certainly mention Downingtown Life to keep our communities connected.
Awesome. Thank you
you.
so much. Thanks for
Yeah.
giving me a
Thank you.
platform.
Thank you.